Nike used to own the streets. For years, if you looked down at people's feet, you'd mostly see swooshes and 3 stripes. But lately, something's changed. Those chunky, ugly, ultra-cushioned shoes from brands like HOKA are suddenly everywhere, and Nike is starting to feel the pressure. In today's video, we are breaking down Nike versus HOKA, how a once niche, geeky running brand turned max cushion into a cool, must-have look, while the global giant that defines sneaker culture is struggling to keep its edge. The numbers: kings under pressure, challenges on the rise. Over the past few years, Nike and Adidas have both hit serious turbulence. Their share prices have fallen sharply from their peaks, and even Adidas has logged its first loss in decades. Meanwhile, the new comfort-first players are surging. HOKA's parent company, Deckers, has seen its value multiply in just a few years, powered largely by HOKA's growth. ASICS, once considered an old-school runner's brand, has delivered huge share price gains after returning to strong profitability. Swiss brand On has raised prices on several models and still upgraded its sales outlook multiple times, targeting explosive full-year growth. So what's going on? Why are the old kings slipping while these so-called ugly functional shoes are taking over our closets? Why functional shoes suddenly became cool? The short answer: our priorities changed. For years, sneaker culture was about hype, collabs, and status. Now, more and more people care about one thing above all: do these actually feel good on my feet? Consulting data shows that when people buy athletic shoes today, their top concern isn't brand or price, it's comfort. That shift comes from 3 big changes in how we live. 1. Exercise became social. The pandemic rewired how we move and how we meet people. Huge numbers of people have taken up sports like running, hiking, and fitness classes. By the mid-2020s, a large majority of Americans were doing some kind of physical activity, and the number of runners passed 50 million for the first time. For Gen Z, working out isn't just about health, it's a new social space. Many are more willing to make friends on a run, in a class, or at the gym than at a bar. More people moving their bodies means more demand for shoes that perform. Cushioning, stability, and support start to matter more than how limited the colorway is. That's the perfect opening for a brand like HOKA. 2. We wear running shoes. Everywhere. The second big shift is where we wear our sneakers. Deckers' own data shows that over 40% of HOKA sales now come from non-sport settings. In other words, people aren't just running in them, they're living in them. Post-pandemic, clean, comfortable sneakers have become core to modern business casual. Nurses, doctors, baristas, engineers, startup founders, more and more professionals are ditching stiff dress shoes for something that can survive 10,000 steps in a day. Comfort stopped being a guilty pleasure and became a flex. I'm smart enough not to torture my feet. Where wearing running shoes to the office once felt sloppy, it's now part of a broader trend. Outdoor and performance gear bleeding into everyday style. 3. Fashion fell in love with Gorpcore, then fashion stepped in and put fuel on the fire. The Gorpcore look, named after good old raisins and peanuts, the stereotypical trail mix, turned hiking, trail, and running gear into fashion statements. Technical fabrics, big midsoles, and aggressive treads suddenly looked runway ready. That gave brands like HOKA the perfect halo. What used to be dismissed as dad shoes became the new cool. Big foam, weird proportions, and functional design started to feel intentional, not accidental. The line between performance and fashion blurred. A shoe could be both your long-run partner and your everyday uniform. In that world, functional design isn't a compromise, it's the aesthetic. HOKA. From niche trail shoe to cult status. Now let's zoom in on HOKA. HOKA started in 2009, and it wasn't chasing hype at all. It was built for serious runners, especially trail and ultra runners, who needed extra cushioning and support for long distances and brutal terrain. At an early trade show, a marathon runner tried a pair, loved the feel, and immediately ordered hundreds of pairs to resell. Word spread community by community, race by race. HOKA didn't become big because celebrities wore it first. It became big because runners trusted how it felt. Deckers, the company behind UGG, bought HOKA in 2013. From there, Deckers invested in scaling the brand without diluting it. HOKA surfed the dad shoe wave and the rise of hybrid work, where people wanted something that looked acceptable on Zoom but felt like a running shoe in real life. HOKA turned into Deckers' growth engine and a star in their portfolio. One of the most important strategic moves, HOKA said no to Foot Locker. Most brands dream of being in the biggest, most visible chains. HOKA did the opposite. Leadership believed scarcity is the lifeblood of a brand. Rather than be everywhere, they focused on being in the right places: specialist running shops, select retailers, and controlled online channels. That restraint kept the brand feeling premium, avoided discount bins, and built the sense that HOKA is chosen, not pushed. In a market where Nike is literally on every corner, HOKA used selective distribution as a power move. On performance routes, luxury crossover HOKA isn't Nike's only new headache. On, the Swiss brand shows a different path to the same destination. On launched in 2010 with one obsession: a brand new underfoot feel. Its founders, including former professional triathlete Olivier Bernard, built the brand around unique midsole technology from day one. On shoes are designed to feel light and responsive, with cushioning that compresses and adapts as you run. The brand rooted itself in serious running by working with elite athletes and building its own training group, the On Athletics Club. Then came the style play On brought in tennis icon Roger Federer as an investor and collaborator, boosting its global credibility. It partnered with luxury label Loewe, bridging high fashion and performance footwear. The result? A shoe that starts on the track but ends up in fashion editorials and tech offices. Performance first, style as a multiplier. Nike versus HOKA. The positioning battle. So how does this all stack up in the Nike versus HOKA narrative for your video? Nike still dominates awareness, cultural history, and global distribution. It owns decades of storytelling, from Michael Jordan to Serena Williams to global World Cup moments. But that scale comes with trade-offs. Nike lives in a red ocean. Huge, crowded, hyper-competitive markets like lifestyle sneakers and general sportswear. Its product line is massive, its distribution is everywhere, and its brand has to mean many things to many people. HOKA, by contrast, plays a subtraction game instead of chasing every trend. It focuses on one feeling: extreme, instantly noticeable comfort underfoot. Instead of trying to own every category, it leans into running and all-day wear for people who prioritize their bodies. Instead of flooding every mall, it stays relatively selective, keeping demand slightly ahead of supply. The core idea: in a saturated market, you don't always win by adding more. You win by subtracting, by stripping your positioning down to something simple, sharp, and unforgettable. For HOKA, that's the way it feels when you walk or run in it. For Nike, the challenge now is: can a brand built on inspiration, competition, and style convincingly reclaim leadership in pure comfort and function without diluting its aura?